What's going on, you guys? Welcome on back to the channel. Now, as we know, in the most recent chapter of The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity, Rintaro and Kaoruko's relationship just got exposed. They've been found out by the teacher of Kaoruko's school, and it looks like the relationship might be on the rocks for like the very first time in the series. But I don't think they're going to break up or anything like that. I don't think we're in for a Kaoruko and Rintaro relationship breakup arc. What I think we're in for is I think we're finally going to learn what the long-standing beef between Chidori and Kaoruko's school is. Because for the longest time, all we've known about these two schools is that they hate each other, right? That's pretty much been the whole thing since the manga started. It's that Rintaro and Kaoruko schools hate each other, especially the teachers, but we don't know what it is and we don't know what started it. What I think this could be is I like to think that one of the teachers from Chidori and one of the teachers from Kaoruko school dated at some point in the past, right? I'm talking about like years ago or something like that. And I think that the relationship obviously fell apart, right? The relationship didn't work out, and there could have been some cheating involved in there, or just some disloyalty within the relationship as a whole. And as a result, it caused all this friction and tension between the two schools. That is what I think it primarily is going to be. But I don't think it's just like any random teachers or anything like that. What I think it is it definitely has everything to do with the teacher that caught Rintaro and Kaoruko at the fireworks show. I genuinely think that that teacher is the one that got burned so heavily by somebody at Chidori, maybe when they were kids, right? Maybe when they were kids all this time ago. And like kids from Chidori and the other school took sides or whatever, and that probably led to the long-standing feud between the two schools, right? Because they all took sides and because there's like so much beef between the two of them, and because the teacher ultimately went to go teach at the opposing school, it all just culminated into this long-standing feud between the two schools. And that's why like all the students like hate each other at these different schools, because it's essentially become systemic, right? It's something that they're taught to hate the other school. So that's why these schools hate each other with such a deep passion. It's because one of the teachers, I like I said, the one that I think caught Rintaro and Kaoruko was the one that got burned by somebody at Chidori. Maybe she got cheated on. Maybe like he ended the relationship. I don't know, but I think she's the root cause of why these schools hate each other so much, because she got played or got done dirty or something like that, and it caused this friction between the two schools. That's why they hate each other with this ferocity, and why like and why Rintaro and Kaoruko can't date in the open, because of this feud between the two schools. That's why they hate each other. And when you think about it, it's actually kind of genius, right? Because when you first like start reading the manga and watching the anime, you think it's like just something stupid, right? You think they just don't like them because like they're different, like they're on the wrong side of the tracks essentially, right? That's what a lot of us thought. Kaoko school hated the boys at Chidori because they're viewed as the wrong side of the tracks or something like that. But it's actually more interesting when you think about like the real backstory behind this beef, and how the teacher that caught them could be the one that is at the center of why these two schools hate each other to this degree. So I think what we're in for now is we're going to get an arc that really extrapolates on that idea and really peels those layers back as to just why these two schools hate each other so much. And I'm very much looking forward to that, because don't get me wrong, I've loved watching every single relationship play out in this series. I loved watching Rintaro actually get that job, and now everybody feels like they're in a happy spot. But this is the moment that I've been waiting for, essentially, because it was happy for too long, and Rintaro and Kawako's relationship was kind of like a ticking time clock. If you really think about it, I don't think the relationship ends, but they were going to get exposed at some point. It was only a matter of when and how, and we're finally at that point. And I think now this is going to be the inciting moment that allows us to finally learn the backstory behind these two schools and why they hate each other with this ferocity. And I think, though, that Rintaro and Kawako's relationship is special because while the teacher and somebody from Chidori's relationship fell apart and crumbled, and that resulted in the hatred between the two schools, I think Rintaro and Kawako's relationship, it's so special and it's so full of love that I think this is the relationship that, if they're allowed to, is able to bring the two schools back together, right? They're going to be the couple that essentially is the reason why these two schools are able to put their rivalry to bed. And I think that would be very special. That would be such a good way to like bring everything full circle. The reason why these two schools finally reconcile is because the couple that started it all, Rintaro and Kawarko, are able to put aside, are able to help the schools put aside their differences in all for like this young love that is just blossoming in front of everybody's eyes. And I don't think they'll be able to look away from that. So I think that's going to be what brings the two schools back together. It's the long-standing relationship of Rintaro and Kaoruko. And honestly, man, that would be such a good arc. I hope that's what the mangaka does next, because I don't want to see like, oh, they break up for a little bit and then get back together. No, no, no. I want to learn finally what the long-standing beef between these schools is, and really what started it and what is the root cause of all of it. And I think that's what we all want to see too. But I think that's going to do it for me. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you guys think, like me, that we're going to kind of get an arc that extrapolates on why the teachers and students of Chidori and Kakuro School really hate each other? Or do you guys think we're going to get something completely different and we're going to see kind of like a breakup arc between the two? Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. And as always, I'm going to talk to you guys next time. Bye.